All right, so we are in the kitchen today with Ben. Now, Ben is a bit of a master chef at hand, I'm pretty confident, because Ben is making some pretty interesting things at home for your family, and you've got quite a few people to cook for, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? So what would you say is your kind of master dish that you like making?
Probably crepes, because I make them all the time for like breakfast on the weekends and stuff.
That's awesome. That's pretty high skill to get them that thin and then to fold them over. And,
yeah.
And what is your fillings in the crepes?
Maple syrup we have sometimes, and also lemon and sugar, and sometimes we put like fruit on there, like strawberries.
Yum! That sounds delicious. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to be doing kind of more of a savory dish together with Ben today. This is called our honey mustard dip. Now, it's a dip, but it's also a salad dressing, and we can also mix it with other dips, like mayo, for example, if we want to have that as a dip. So it's a very versatile one, but there's a few key skills in this that I think Ben's going to absolutely rock. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple things. First of all, with the measurements, I know that you're probably all over this, so we're going to need to find the tablespoon measure, and we're going to start with the tablespoon.
Okay.
We're going to be measuring, first of all, some white wine vinegar. Now, if you can't get the white wine vinegar, do you know of any other vinegars we could use? Like, if we're going to make kind of a vinaigrette salad dressing, do you know of any other vinegars?
No.
No? So we could probably get away with apple cider vinegar if we wanted to. It is quite different though, and maybe you could even get away with like a rice wine vinegar. Okay? So can you please measure very well, I know you're going to do this very well, two tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, and we'll put it straight into here. Okay, now the cool kind of science that's going to be happening with this recipe is we're going to need to be creating an emulsion. So not so much like mayonnaise, that's similar, but we just want to create an emulsion so that the whole dressing basically holds together rather than separating. Have you ever seen that with a dressing, how it separates the oil and the water? So we don't want that to happen. We want to hold it all together. So there's a few key ingredients in here that are going to do that for us. Okay? So go ahead, you can measure your 2 nice level tablespoons of white wine vinegar. Good work. That's a perfect measure. See how we got it right to the top of the tablespoon? That's awesome. Good stuff. Okay. Now, this is one of our magic ingredients that's going to hold everything together. Do you know that?
Yep.
Mustard. But particularly, we probably want to use Dijon mustard because it's a nicer flavor. Okay? Now, we're going to need 2 more tablespoons of this guy. So you probably can go straight ahead and scoop into there because vinegar is okay. And if you want to level it out, maybe we can level it out with the back of this, back of that one. Is that a good measure? Looks pretty good. Yep. Okay. And you can even scoop it in with this too, if that makes it easier. Might need to push it in there. Good work. Okay, and 1 more of those. We're going to total of 2 tablespoons of that. There's just something about the mustard seed that has an emulsifying effect. And I don't even know if science really understands that. We just know that mustard works as an emulsifier. And it tastes pretty good too, right?
Yeah.
Can you get all that out? We don't want to waste any bits. Yeah, good job. Okay, and if we have to, do you know what the best spatula they've ever invented is?
What?
Your finger. Have you got clean hands?
Yeah.
Go for it then. So you can just use your finger to scrape the rest of those bits out and into the jar, because we definitely don't want to have any waste. Good stuff. Gotta get all those good bits in there. Okay. And you can even just drag your finger on there if you want to get it out. So you got to use it like the best spatula in the world, all the way around. Yes. Okay, now I might just give that one a quick rinse because now we're going to do some, if you want to rinse your fingers, can there too. Go ahead. And you got your handy tea towel on you. All right, now some salt. We're going to need a teaspoon of salt, so 1 level teaspoon. And this is where it's pretty important to measure correctly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if we're only having a small amount of ingredients, we want to make sure that they're all pretty well measured, don't we? So nice level teaspoon. You can even use the back of this knife if you wanted to level that out. Yep. And if you keep the knife upright like this, then you can use it as a scraper.
Okay.
Cool, right? So 1 teaspoon of salt. Good stuff. And then the other magic ingredient,
Honey.
honey. So this is going to help to take a bit of the edge of that vinegar off, okay? So normally in a salad dressing, I don't know about you, but I quite like the lemon flavor. Do you like lemon in a salad dressing?
Yeah.
Yeah? So vinegar is like lemon, but it's really quite a bit stronger, isn't it?
Yeah.
So can you kind of get four teaspoons of honey, and we'll kind of drip it in there. Just do your best to kind of approximate, because it won't obviously all come out at once. Oh, there you go. Kind of have to just guess it. Here, I'll help you. Bit of teamwork, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go again. The one thing though, when you are using a honey jar, is you do want to go in there with clean utensils. So that one we only had the salt in, and I think all the salt granules had come out. But we don't want to get any contaminants in the honey, because honey can keep forever. Did you know that? It's the only food that can keep forever.
Wow.
Never goes off. If it doesn't get contaminated, it'll never go off. Okay, one more. Good stuff. Okay, now we are going to need your mixing mussels. Does that sound like a good idea? Are you doing any sport at school at the moment? Yeah, we'll use that one.
Well, we just finished Skizzer.
Skizzer, what's that?
Skizzer is like where you choose a sport and then you play it in school. Like everyone from year 4 to year 6, like everybody plays it and they choose a sport, and then we face off other schools on certain days. Like there's one day called the Gala Day where we do it for the whole day, and we sit out in school and we play sport, and then we have like some trials where we just do one game.
So, but who gets to choose the sport?
Oh, you choose it yourself, and there are multiple sports for like a boy and a girl, and then it's separated into gender. So there's like a few boy sports and then a few girl sports, and this semester I chose touch.
Oh, so you get to go and pick which group you want to join.
Yeah.
And then you kind of compete against other schools in that chosen sport. I getcha. Okay, so you did touch footy.
Yeah.
Cool. And how'd you go with it?
Good. In the Gala Day we came 6 out of 12 schools.
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. And do you think you learned any new skills doing it? Like, was it a new sport for you, or you'd already played that a fair bit?
I'd already played it like 2 other times, I think.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right, I'm just gonna get us some measuring spoons, cups, and then. Okay, so we've got our first little base mix happening. Still have a few little lumpies in there, do you think? Maybe this one might be easier because you can kind of sort of mash it against the edges a little bit. Do you want to try that? The other thing that's really fun to mix this with is, do you have any of those old-fashioned egg beaters at home?
No, I don't think we have any.
Have you seen them though? You know which ones I mean, with the crank on it? Those are really fun. This gets a really good emulsion happening when we use those. Okay, so we might need to find a whisk after, but let's start with this. Okay, now I'm a little bit low on this oil. Normally we'd need about 1/3 of a cup. So can you just get me all of the oil out of there that you can? And we're gonna make it up with olive oil and maybe a little bit of extra flax oil. Now, the reason why we've called for olive oil and sunflower oil in this recipe is because the sunflower oil is actually kind of a more mild flavor. And some people might find that if we just put all of the olive oil, it could be maybe a bit strong for them. But I feel like your palate is maybe a little bit adapted and adjusted right now. Do you think so?
Yeah.
So do you think you'd be okay if we topped up the rest of that with olive oil?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I'll just get you to hold it over there just in case. Look how much different color that is.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Okay. And then normally we'd be putting another 1/3 of a cup in there too. So it does make a fairly big batch, but we don't want to forget this guy too. Do you know what this one is?
No.
No? Okay. So this is organic flaxseed oil, and this is cold pressed. It's very important it's cold pressed. But do you know the flax seeds, like where you get flax meal from? Do you ever use those at home?
No, we don't use them.
No? Maybe Mum has them in the cupboard somewhere. You don't know about them. But yeah, so flax meal is also another name that in Australia they say linseeds. Have you heard of linseeds?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the reason why we're using this in the oil, look at the color of this one. We're gonna use a tablespoon of this guy, please. Look how bright this one is. It's like bright yellow. Okay. Now the reason why we're putting this one in is because it is so extremely good for us in the oil sense to balance out the other oils.
Okay.
Okay, so should we have a bit of a science lesson here?
Okay.
All right. So in the oils, we've got these things called essential fatty acids, or EFAs for short. And some of them, have you heard of omega-6 and omega-3? Funny little terms that are thrown out there. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe not. Well, most oils are really high in omega-6, okay? But the body needs balance between omega-6 and omega-3. And if it doesn't have balance, that's when we have kind of problems in the body, and the omega-6s can kind of cause inflammation and cause like sometimes issues in the body.
Okay.
But if we have the balance with the omega-3s and the omega-6, then the body can do what it needs to do and it gets maximum benefit out of that.
Okay.
Okay? So the reason why we're adding this guy is because it's really high in omega-3. Right, okay? So it's gonna boost up the level of omega-3s and make this more of a perfect balance for what the body needs.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
So this one you can kind of think of as a brain oil. That's a way to think of it because it's really good for helping you focus in school, right? And whenever we have oil in our diet, which is in most of our diets, right? It helps to kind of balance that out.
Okay.
Okay? So that's a pretty important one. All right, we're gonna need to mix that. So I'm gonna let you start mixing with a spoon, but I'm gonna go get some other tools. And this is probably gonna be part of our science experiment too, is to see which tool actually makes it easier to create an emulsion.
Okay.
Okay? An extra long fork. Is that a good tool?
No.
We'll find out. What's this called?
I forgot.
A whisk.
Oh.
Is that a good tool?
Yeah.
I think we can probably get a pretty good mix happening with this. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you want to do another trick? The fork didn't really do much else, did it?
Yeah.
Okay, watch this trick. Ready?
Wow.
Do you want to give that a try?
Okay.
Just got to go back and forth. And if you put a bit of a downward pressure on it, you might have to readjust your hands. But then we get a nice... Look how well that's mixing that. Pretty cool,
Yeah.
right? And all of a sudden it started to hold all the oil into the wet ingredients. Or into the water-based ingredients.
Yeah, that's cool.
Bit of coordination in that. Like you're starting a fire. Like you know how they do the sticks and...
Yeah.
Not that I've ever been able to do that. It's kind of hard, isn't it?
Yeah. I've never tried.
You do go camping though quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, we go camping like every Easter and Christmas holidays.
That's fun. So have you ever tried starting your own fire before with a
No.
stick? Maybe you can do that next camping trip.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so we still have just that 1/3 of a cup of oil left. I just wanted to get us an emulsion happening. But before we add this, let's maybe have a little taste. What do you think?
Okay.
Maybe a little pinky finger taste and see where we're at. Because this is the ultimate reason why you guys are watching this video and why Ben and I are cooking together, is because it's about the skill.
Okay.
Right? It's one thing to follow a recipe, but if you have the skill, then you know how to adjust this if it's not quite right for your palate. Because not everyone has the same palate, right? The same tongue.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Oh, yeah. So picture that either going over a salad or dipping something in it, like a carrot. Is it strong enough?
Yeah.
Think it's strong enough? Okay. Is it maybe too strong?
No.
No, you're happy with that?
Yep.
So we might not even need to add the extra oil, right? So I have called for more, but because we have the extra flavor in the olive oil, you can make the ultimate head chef decision and go, nope, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
You want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case then I think it needs a little bit more blending. Let's get that nice and kind of, we almost want it syrupy. Like if we were to pour it, it's almost like we'd get like a stream, a nice thick stream of it. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna make us some dippers.
Okay.
I hear you like capsicum.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's one of my favorite veggies.
nice. It's a good one to have as a favorite veggie because they come in lots of colors, don't they?
Yeah.
Have you ever grown any?
I don't think so.
No?
We have like some gardens, and we're growing pineapples at the moment.
Cool.
We have like 3 pineapples on the way.
Okay. And check out this cool dude. How do we find that one? That's like the perfect pair of legs. I don't even want to break it. I don't think we shouldn't eat it, should we?
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to look at it. It's pretty cool. Nature does some pretty awesome stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and let's get a carrot happening for us here too. Now, we don't even need to peel carrots all the time, especially if they're organic. We just want to take a few of the little spots off. The only time we would peel it is if we were putting it into a dish and not having it straight away, in which case the edges of it might go a bit brown. Did you know that it's really only if you leave the skin on that the carrots can go a bit brown?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's better if we can just leave as much skin on as we can so we get the nutrition out of it. How's that working for you?
Yep.
Are we getting a nice thick stream, Chef?
Yep.
Do you want to give it a test with the spoon? Maybe take a big scoop and hold it over? What do you think?
Yeah.
Does it look like it's emulsified?
Yeah.
It's not separating on us? I think we've done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
We. What am I saying? It's all you. All right, let's have a taste. Which one are you going to use?
I'm gonna use some capsicum.
Okay, cheers.
Yeah.
Tick of approval?
Yeah.
Does it need anything?
No.
No? So it's got enough sweetness, enough saltiness, enough sourness. Wow, we nailed it. First time. Well done. So what kinds of things do you think it could go with? Now that you've had a chance to taste it, use your chef hat, put your chef hat on and go, okay, I could see that going with...
Maybe some different kinds of like fruit.
Fruit even? Ooh, I like that. So we could get like the sweet, savory, sour thing going on with fruit.
Yeah.
So maybe like, what would we put with that? Would we want a really sweet fruit, like a grape? Or what kind of fruit were you thinking?
Maybe like apple.
Ooh, oh, I like that. That's very creative. So, you know what? That could almost be like, have you heard of a Waldorf salad? Where they have apple and walnut and a similar dressing to that actually. I think you're spot on with that. That's cool, good thinking. And what else? So, I mean, we could just have it on a normal green salad. Would we ever use it maybe as a base of a pizza? Or if you made like a savory crepe?
Oh, yeah. It would probably be pretty good on that.
Yeah? So we can maybe put that in the savory crepe with like, what kind of veggies would we put with it? Or what would we have with that, do you think?
Maybe like some different veggies and also some fruit, like I said.
And even you'd put some fruit in the crepe? Okay. I think Ben has a new thing he's got to go home and work on for a recipe, don't you? We might have a new recipe in the next book.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making honey mustard dip with me. Do you think that you got to practice your... We forgot to talk about how French that is, by the way. It's a very French dish and dressing and skills that we learned. Plus we had the Dijon mustard from Dijon. But yeah, so do you think that's something that you could now make at home?
Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome. Thanks for making honey mustard dip with me. Nailed it. So now you have to just say, here's my honey mustard dip, guys.
Honey mustard dip.
By Ben.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. That was fun. Should we eat some more?
Yeah.
We'll just turn it around, just dip the other side. Maybe should we share it or save it? You did such a good job.